Hi everyone, how are you? Hope you are well. So today we're going to talk about the Airbnb space, and I'm just looking at this screen to see if I can blur my background out. Okay, so somebody tell me where I blurred my background out at. Where is it? Okay, I don't see it. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about Airbnb. So, as far as Airbnb goes, Airbnb is a good space to get into, especially if you're just starting out in real estate. Um, you don't have a lot of money. Airbnb is a good place because you can start out with $10,000 as opposed to the normal 20,000 that it would cost to get into a property that you don't live in. Of course, there is this 3.5% with the FHA loan. Um, Also, some conventional loans offer 3.5%, but usually after you purchase your first home for the 3.5%, the next home is going to be anywhere from 20% to 25%. So, as far as Airbnb goes, you can get in there with $10,000. And that includes all the fees. It includes furnishing the property. It includes the deposits that you need to make. So, Airbnb is very good, especially if you are a new real estate investor just starting out. It's not a huge amount of money that you are investing to start. So that is one of the pros of Airbnb. Also, if you already own a home, you can do what is called house hacking, and you can put a room on the website Airbnb and you can make like $1,500 a month. So you're renting out a room in your house for like $50 a day and getting like 1,500 a month. Now, I would never do something like that because I'm a woman and you don't know what kind of people are coming to your house. So, for me as a woman, Airbnb is always going to involve the person living somewhere else, not with me. So that's really your choice. Uh, Probably safer to do if you're a man, having someone coming to live with you in your house, strangers. But even so, being a man nowadays, people are insane. So you really do have to be careful. Not only is there mental illness out there, but there is drug addiction. So people are like high on stuff. So they are seeing things and hearing things. You're looking at me right now. You see me as a Black woman, but if you're on drugs, you could think you're talking to a cloud or something. So that's how the world is. So you have to be extremely careful, but there is that option of house hacking and using a room in your home that nobody is using. That could be an additional room, it could be a basement, and you're just putting photos out on a website, Airbnb, and people see that site and they click the button, they say, "Yes, I would like to stay there and I will pay money." And you can make like $1,500 a month doing that. House hacking. Other than that, making sure that they're somewhere else, you can do Airbnb using somebody else's property. And so that is a good thing about Airbnb. You don't actually have to physically buy a property. You are using somebody else's property. You rent it out and then you sublet it. And so you take the money that the person is paying you and you subtract all your expenses and you get your profit. Hence, you have Airbnb. So it's good to do, especially if you are starting out. You're a new real estate investor and you would like to make profit. And then eventually accumulating the number of Airbnbs that you have. So, like, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30. And all of these are not your properties. They're somebody else's properties, but you're still making profit and you're not putting a lot of money into it. So that is the benefit of Airbnb. Um, so I know someone who's making 10,000 a month. Someone else is making $1 million a year. The $1 million a year is doing what is called midterm rentals, which the persons they stay there longer. They have a longer stay as opposed to Airbnb, which is shorter. So 10K a month with the Airbnb, million a year with the midterm rentals. So those are the people that I know of and the kind of money that they are generating. So again, that is the pro. It doesn't take a lot of money to get started. I even recently saw a 17-year-old with the Airbnb. So if a 17-year-old can have an Airbnb, you can have an Airbnb if that is something that you choose to do. The option is out there. Like I said, the benefit is that it doesn't take a lot of money to get into it. You just have to have the desire to get into it. So we hear mostly about multifamily, the benefits of multifamily. Multifamily, you can get into that if you don't have a lot of money, but more likely that's going to be like a duplex to begin with. If you're a brand new real estate investor, new to investing, multifamily, more than likely that's going to be a duplex or a triplex. When it comes to the bigger multifamily, especially if you're ready to scale up, like 20 units, 100 units, then the kind of multifamily is that you're going to need a lot of money. And in order to have a lot of money, you're going to need partners, people who are going to join together with you and be your partner and invest with you. So with something like Airbnb, you don't need partners. This is something that you can do on your own. So it is good, especially if you are just starting out. However, the kind of Airbnb, as you know, is that you don't own the property, so you're not getting appreciation. So it is a good idea to diversify. What I mean by diversification when it comes to Airbnb is not only doing just Airbnb, but getting into the long-term buy and hold also. So you have Airbnb over here, but you also have buy and hold also. It's a good idea to do both. Reason being is that the government can come in at any time. They can regulate this at any time, and they could do something like they did in Atlanta. They could tell you, say you spent all this time accumulating Airbnbs, like you're very serious about it, and you set a goal that you're going to acquire this many Airbnbs every year. Okay, say that you've been doing that for 10 years, right? Your whole focus is Airbnb and you're very serious about it, and say that you've been doing that for 10 years. You've been acquiring a certain amount of Airbnbs every year for 10 years. And then the government decides to come in and tell you that you can only have 2 Airbnbs. So something like that did happen over in Atlanta. Um, there is regulation that can come in whenever they get ready. So keeping something like that in mind, it's a good idea to diversify. So that you not only have your Airbnb, but you also have your long-term buy and hold. So it's a good idea to diversify uh, your different rental properties. They say that you should pick one type and focus on that one type. But when it comes to Airbnbs, it's a good idea to have something besides the Airbnb. For the reason that I just stated, government regulations. They can come in at any time and tell you, nope, you got too many Airbnbs. The other thing I wanted to speak about is collaboration. Collaboration over competition. That is somebody else's slogan. It's not my slogan. But collaboration is always better. Better to collaborate. Um, you go further in life by collaborating. There are a lot of people who like to withhold information. Me on my podcast, if you notice, when I interview people, I ask them how much money do you make? And the reason why I ask that question is because how do you know to aspire to anything if you have no idea what the people are making? So I know that is personal. It's a personal question. Some people choose to answer the question. Some people choose not to answer the question. It's really none of my business, but I am trying to help the listeners. If you don't know how much they're making, how would you even know to aspire to something like that? And then how would you know that you can be greater than you can even imagine that you can be? Like this person is over here is making $10 million a year, but they're not going to tell you anything. So, how would you know how great you can be? I mean, you're already great no matter how much money you make, but um just the thought of sharing with people. Is that so hard? I know it's personal, but you could share a little bit or get one on one with the person if you don't want the whole world knowing how much you make. Tell somebody one on one that you really care about. So, collaboration is better than competition. There's a guy out here that will remain nameless that I'm thinking perhaps we can collaborate. I'm going to have this person on the podcast and they're going to share their story. This will help this person and will also help the people who are watching. But people have different mindsets. Like you're thinking about collaboration and they're thinking that you are a competitor, that I better get on my stuff and change my stuff up so I can stay ahead. So people are people are strange. But collaboration is always better than competition. So just do the best that you can. Remember that people are watching at all times. Um, some people are willing to help, and then again, other people are just looking at you like, uh-oh, you're starting to catch on. So I better speed up so I can stay ahead of you. So that is what I wanted to bring up with this whole Airbnb business. There's Airbnb, and then also there is the midterm rental space. Just remember to stay diversified. Some people say that you need to pick one lane and follow that lane. If it's going to be multifamily, follow multifamily all the way. If it's going to be Airbnb, follow that Airbnb all the way. However, if you're getting an Airbnb, because Airbnb can be shaky, they do have things going on like 1 month you get paid, and then you can go a month without getting paid because nobody booked the room for that month. So, since Airbnb, it can be shaky, like I said before, it's important to keep that long term hold also. And then make sure that you have enough money that in the event that nothing is booked for a month, that you can pay that rent for that month. So that would be something important to know in cases of Airbnb. Like on the other hand, with the long-term rental, say for example, you use Section 8. Section 8 is guaranteed rent. You're going to get that rent every month, even if the tenant is not paying. So Section 8 is guaranteed rent. Airbnb, some months you make a profit, and then there could be a month where nobody books. So just be mindful of that. All right. If you like the show, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and notification bell next to it so that you won't miss an episode. Also, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.